let's look at how to fill out the service agreement form and pay the required deposit by credit card. Now the first thing you're going to do is to go to communicate and click on that little white arrow and select service agreement. When you click on the service agreement option, it brings up this screen which wants you to choose a pool. Now if you only have one pool, then go ahead and click the submit button. If you have multiple pools, then click the drop down arrow and select the address for the pool that you want to fill out a service agreement for. So in this case, I'm selecting that pool and I'm going to click the submit button, and it brings up the service agreement form. Now the service agreement form has several different types of inputs, so let's just walk through it. Now before you begin filling anything out, one thing I would recommend that you do is to read through the entire form. Read everything on here and make sure you understand it. I also want to point out that there are terms and conditions attached to this form, and you can read them by clicking on this link that says click here to read our general terms and conditions. So when you do, it will open up a small window and you can click and hold this bar that's on the side and simply drag it down to read all the terms and conditions. Now at the bottom of the terms and conditions there is a close window button. When you're done reading the terms and conditions, you click this button and the window will close. At the bottom of the page you'll have an opportunity to put in your email address where you want to receive email, and to put in your name as your signature, and the date, you will notice, is automatically put in for you. Today's date is automatically put in that window. You can't really change it. The last thing you have to do is, after you fill this out, is to click the agree to document button. Okay, now let's go back to the top and fill this form out. As I said, the first field on the screen asks you for the date around which you want to begin swimming. To put in a date, you simply click inside of the box and it brings up this little calendar. Now to select future months, you're going to click on this little arrow that's on the right hand side here. You're going to click it until the month that you want is displayed. So let's say I want to begin swimming on June 1st. I click it until June shows up, and then I select the 1st by clicking on the 1st, and you'll notice that it automatically fills in the date in that field. So that's how you input that date. The next thing you'll do is look at each one of the options and click inside the checkbox that's next to the highlighted option. So for example, I would like to select the opening service, so I click the checkbox and you notice it puts a little tick mark there to tell me that I've selected it. Suppose I clicked the box but I didn't really mean to. How do I fix that? Well, you can simply click in the box again and the tick mark goes away. So you can do that and correct whatever mistakes you make. Okay, so I want the opening and I want the winterizing service, and I would like to select the bi-weekly vacuum, and I would also like the winter maintenance. So I click in the winter maintenance box. So now I've made all those selections, and the last part is now the electronic signature consent. As it states here, by clicking in this checkbox, you are giving your permission to use your name inside the yellow box as a signature, because you can't physically sign on the screen. So you can, in this box here, put in your email address that you'd like to receive email from the company. So let's just fill in an email address. And now I'm going to type in my name. And the last field on the screen is today's date. You'll notice that it's automatically entered for you, so you don't have to type anything. In fact, you can't type anything in that field. So the last thing you have to do is, and I recommend this, go to the top of the form and review your selections. Make sure that you've accurately selected all the options that you want, and once you've looked it over and you're sure everything is correct, go ahead and click on the Agree to Document button, and it brings up the payment method screen. Here it tells you what your required deposit is. In my case, $347.50. And now it's asking you, how would you like to pay? I'm going to pay by credit card. So I'm going to click the Pay Now by Credit Card button. And it brings up this form. This form is asking for general information. Basically, where should the billing address be listed as, and what kind of credit card do I want to use. In my case, I'm using an American Express, so I select it from the list, and I'm going to put in my credit card number here. So I've put in my credit card number, and I check over the name to make sure that's how it appears on the credit card. Verify that. Put in the expiration date, August of 2019, and then the CVC, which is the code on the back of the card. So 185, and I can save my information on file for future use, so I don't have to keep putting in this information. So I selected yes, and then I click the submit button, and it will check over my credit card. Now that my card has been approved and the deposit has been taken, you will see this screen. It's a thank you screen, which tells you that the deposit has been successfully received and recorded. Now all you have to do is either go back to the main screen by clicking on this arrow button here, and then you can log out from here by clicking on the log out button at the top of the screen. And that's it. That's how you fill out your service agreement form and pay your deposit using a credit card.